Today we have a public service announcement. How are you talking to kids about exercise? Let's just lay it out there straight away. When you're with children, how are you approaching the idea of movement? The reason I say this is because I was at the park yesterday and I was next to a couple with their little kid, and he comes over to them and he had picked up something off the ground. It happened to be a piece of glass. He's showing it to them. He's really excited. He's like, "Look what I found, Mom and Dad." And they flipped out on him. They were like, "How could you pick up a piece of glass? You could have cut yourself. That would have been so terrible. Think about all those germs you just picked up. You have those germs all over your body." And they were going on and on this like huge rant at this poor little kid that I don't even think he knew that he was doing anything wrong. The way they were talking, it did not sound like they ever told him not to pick up glass before. They just somehow assumed that he was supposed to know this intuitively. So, as a punishment, the kid had to do 20 push-ups, 20 dips, and 20 squats. And he's there in the middle of the park with his hands on the ground. So, I mean, that kind of negates the whole germ argument. Doing his push-ups. Maybe he was like 6 or 7 years old. Really scrawny stick arms. I mean, he can't even push up his body weight. His hips are sagging on the floor. His parents are yelling at him, telling him to work harder and push harder and pick his hips up when he physically can't. And I just felt so bad for the poor kid because what kind of message is he getting about exercise? Because he's being forced to exercise as punishment for doing something that he's not supposed to be doing. So this sends the message that exercise is not fun, exercise is horrible, it's punishment, it's something you have to do, it's something you have to do when you do things you're not supposed to do. It's this entirely warped mentality, and a lot of us get this even in very subtle messages. Think about like on a sports team, how many times if you showed up late or you did something wrong, you had to go run a mile or do a lap around the track. Back in the day, I hope no personal trainers do this anymore, but if you showed up late for your session, you had to do 20 burpees for every minute you were late. It's sending the message that exercise is punishment, which is completely backwards. Because exercise is a privilege, exercise is fun, movement is fun, it's a joy to move your body. It's essential to your health. If you're not going to move, it's actually going to affect your entire well-being. And that's my message for today. Like, please, I know that you're not supposed to tell other people how to parent their children. Everybody has their own philosophies and viewpoints, but this is my viewpoint coming from what I've learned about physical activity and about brain development. If you want to, and then these parents, they decided to bribe their daughter to get her to go running. So then they said, because they had a daughter too, they were like, "I bet you can't run 3 laps around this park. I bet you can't. I bet you can't. You know what? I'll give you $1 if you run 3 laps around the park." And then the mother, under her breath, goes, "I can't believe I have to bribe them." Like, there has to be a way to make it fun, and there should be, and there is, and there's a way to enjoy it and encourage. I've seen parents, cheer for their kids, tell them to do some push-ups, it'll be fun, do it along with them. This is sending a message that exercise is a lifelong habit and something that you just do for fun. If you are prescribing push-ups as punishment for doing something wrong, chances are likely that kid is going to grow up hating exercise and movement, and they are going to avoid it at all costs. And who knows what's going to happen to their health in the long run.